What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Adam, and I am feeling better than yesterday, but I'm still pretty burned out overall. Um, so today is April 23rd, and I am just got done grocery shopping. Wanted to get that done before 5. I got to a point with my project. It was a good stopping point. I finished a stage of a project. Now I'm off to write some code. I finished the design work for something. It's not a huge thing. Finished some design work. Now I'm going to go implement the design in code. It's better to it's like you wouldn't build a house if you didn't have a blueprint. If you're really good at building houses, you might be able to wing it. But most of the time, even when you're really good at building a house, you would want to have a blueprint. In fact, I'm going to assume that this tiny house, is the example of what you would get if you just try to build a house without a drawing or a blueprint, and you're just like, oh, fuck it, build a house. And you've seen what happens. It is kind of funny because I used to tell a joke about building a house without a blueprint, and just put some pipes somewhere, excuse me, hold on. I don't know why I'm all phlegmy all of a sudden. I wasn't until I started recording this video. Something in the air in Houston, Texas. It's a muggy day, but anyway, I feel better now. There was a joke I used to tell about building a house without a blueprint in relation to websites. And it's like, yeah, I mean, if you're really good at building houses, you might be able to just slap something together. But then people are going to wonder, well, why is the toilet right next to the kitchen sink? Here we are. It's this place. This is what you get when you build a house without a blueprint. Because that's where the pipes were, so we figured we'd just put the toilet next to the sink. So anyway, I had some revelations, not the right word. It was just some synchronicities today to talk about. While I was working, a video popped up in my feed that a guy talked about. I think his name's Chris Yoon. It's an Asian dude who talks about Jesus and God, and he's living in South Korea right now, but he was living here in the United States. I don't know his whole story. He's got some good videos. Seems like a pretty cool dude. He was talking about, he was kind of like contrasting, like, God can give you all the things that you need. God can give and give and give, but God can also take away everything. And God can take something away completely. And it's not what you think. It's not God, I'm not talking about God taking away your home and everything you own and, throwing you out into the street to fend for yourself and, like, losing all your possessions, all that kind of stuff. No, it was more like God can take away your past and erase it. God can make you forget about something that you need to stop dwelling on. God can, take your bad habits and remove them from your life. And, like, this whole video got me thinking about some stuff that I'm having a hard time letting go of, even though I have no reason to carry it around with me anymore. And so, that was a nice, it kind of hit me a little bit. But I was working, and I just put it away and kept on working. I'm the kind of person that once I start working on something, especially if I'm into it, you won't be able to pull me away until I'm done. Like, I get really wrapped into my work, but I have a hard time starting. That's the hard part. Like, I came back from the grocery store, I need to get working again, and I'm just kicking it, and I'm sore. I've got muscle aches. It's just there's a lot of fatigue, and the stress of this situation that I'm in right now is causing me some fatigue, like just like long-term fatigue and soreness, and it's really difficult. I was looking at my weight loss chart, and I just did a video about how I'm an expert at weight loss, because it burn more calories than you eat, you will lose weight, and that's totally true. There's nothing about that that's wrong. But the rate at which you will burn those calories off when it comes to burning more than you eat will be much slower when you're stressed out. And the calories that you eat will be worse for you and more fattening, because you'll naturally want comfort food when you're stressed out. And so I'm looking at my trend chart for the weight loss, and January was all downhill, like weight coming off. There was a little blip somewhere in the way. February, the whole month of February, I'm losing weight. The whole month of March, I'm losing weight. And then April, it's just been, no matter what I do, since April 3rd, the weight has been going up. Not severely, mind you. We're talking about just a few pounds. I'm hovering around. I'm still in the low. I'm still pretty low, but basically I'm right back to where I was when I moved to Houston. There's been some ups and downs, but I'm pretty much locked in at what I came here at. Like, no gain, no loss. I'm kind of dead even with where I was when I moved here. Up until April 3rd, it was on a downhill trend, because I had gained some weight by the end of December. Holiday season was not nice to me. Working at a bakery, eating 1,000-calorie cookies day after day, sometimes more than one a day, eating comfort food, eating good meals, like not getting as much exercise as I should, all added up. And stress. There was a lot of stress. The stress comes and goes, but the one thing I can say about my weight loss chart is that it corresponds, and this is going back years when I've used this app. The weight gain periods always accompany stress periods. They're always in sync. I can look at these charts, and I don't have access to the old ones prior to when I was arrested, but I had been using this app for well over a decade, off and on. But when I was using it, I would track my weight for 1 to 2 years, daily. And I could just look at the trends, and I could say, whenever I see the thing going up and up and up and up and up and up and up, I can remember, I'm like, yeah, from that date to that date, that this crazy ass thing was going on, and I was completely stressed out. I had this really horrible job, and this job got really stressful on this day. I remember the day it happened, because a lot of times some of these jobs would start out great, and then there would be a turning point, and sometimes a very specific date in a turning point where the place became a nightmare to work for. And you could see my weight just go shooting up. And then I'd get rid of that job and start a new job that was a great environment, and it was like I got my tranquility and sanity back, and you just see the line go straight down, drop all of a sudden. And so that's an important part I should have put in my weight loss expert video, that stress is a big contributor to whether you're going to gain or lose weight. Now, you can lose weight when you're stressed out. It's just harder, much harder. And exercise and weight loss can help you lose stress. So I think those are the three things that interplay with each other when it comes to whether you're going to lose or gain weight. And if you're trying to lose weight, if your stress is extremely high because you're going through some kind of toxic nightmare, you're going to have a hard time. Sometimes extreme amounts of stress will cause you to lose weight. When 2020 started and all the bullshit and the nonsense and the government lockdowns and I'm like, oh my God, this is this is martial law. This is where they're like I was getting ready for war, civil war, because that's what was about to start. And I was having a hard time sleeping and stressed out and just constantly running around making sure my preparations were in place. Do I have a year's supply of food? We had enough toilet paper for a year and a half. We had so much toilet paper because that was a hard thing to find. We made sure that we had so much toilet paper, it was ridiculous. I didn't have to buy toilet paper for over a year when shit calmed down. It wasn't even that hard. It didn't even take up that much space. And then we're like, okay, well, what happens when the toilet paper runs out? We need a bidet. And just all kinds of, and it wasn't just toilet paper. It was food and supplies, and got to have, we need 20, 30 gallons of gas stored in 5-gallon containers with fuel stabilizer, and you name it. I had to I got to get a generator. I just got a chest freezer and filled it up with meat to the top. I got a year's supply of meat, but I got to go get a generator because what happens if the power goes out for a month and we're going to lose all this meat? And it was just one thing after the next, and I was so stressed out during that period that I lost a ton of weight. Way more stressed out than the stress that causes me to gain weight. And Joe Biden said, stay home, don't go out. And I was like, you know what? Here, hold my beer. And me and my son, I took my son on a road trip. We went to 20 different states. And we traveled all over the fucking place. Traveled all the way from Minneapolis all the way down as far south as Florida and back, and went in all kinds of places in between. And it was me looking for it was fun because road trips are fun, and I'm out taking photos and whatnot. But I was doing it as a test to see what places in America went completely batshit crazy and what places are still normal. And West Virginia, Florida, and Tennessee were the normal places. The worst places were your obvious, the blue states. Minneapolis was fucking horrible. Michigan was terrible. Maryland was terrible. North Carolina was terrible. Virginia was Georgia was horrible. All these places were just full of batshit crazy retards running around in their masks. Yet Florida, Tennessee, and West Virginia, it was like nothing was happening. Everybody was living their life and living normally. Pennsylvania was a mixed bag. The blue cities were completely full of retards, and the red parts of Pennsylvania, you wouldn't know any of this shit was going on, but it was still kind of Pennsylvania really wasn't my favorite place to be, but it was better than New York. New York State was done. So I was traveling to figure out, where am I going to go when the shit hits the fan? Where do I want to try and buy a piece of land so that when the shit hits the fan, I can retreat to some place where people are going to make a stand and not go along with this shit. And so that was a major stressful period. But like I said, I narrowed it down to West Virginia, Tennessee, and Florida were the three places where people were acting normal, generally speaking, and most of the other states were gone. Kentucky, I just not a big fan of Kentucky, so it was out. That state was already out. But it really boiled down to if you're in a if you're in a red county, you're gonna be okay. But if you're in a blue county, just drive on through because there's nothing there for you if you're in the blue counties. And that's how you really couldn't look at it on a state by state basis. You had to look at it in a county level. Because here I'm in Houston right now. And to this day, today, I saw people walking around with their fucking masks, driving with the mask on their face in the car all by themselves. It's 2025, for fuck's sake. Take your fucking mask off, idiot. But these people, they hate Donald Trump, and that's their MAGA hat. That's the Democrat MAGA hat. They're wearing these masks so much that when they go out in the sun, they have a big white circle around their mouth because they never take the fucking mask off, and now it's giving them tan lines. It's fucking, and then you gotta wear the mask all the time because you don't want to look like a fucking retard with a big circle around your face, do you? So, anyway, so that's what's going on with that. And, but anyway, so I went to, I put that video, I saw that video, it was telling me something I needed to hear. And then I'm in the grocery store, and I saw two people that reminded me of some, I'm not going to get into the details, just reminded me of something from the past. Twice. Like, one in the store and one in the parking lot, and I was like, wow, that's kind of weird. That I saw the same thing twice. Once in the store, once out in the parking lot, two different people doing the same thing. And it was weird. It was just, it was something that doesn't need to be talked about. But it was just strange. Strange. Twice. In a 5-minute span, 10 minutes, 15 minutes at the most. I don't even know. It was right before I was about to pay, and it was right after I put on my backpack to start walking home with my groceries. And I was just like, whoa. That's the second time I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And, so anyway, I don't know, like, what triggered this line of thought, but I started to think about the coincidence of, because I can't get past this uncanny coincidence of how on April 3rd, a year ago, I just come home from prison, and April 3rd was the first day I walked into the apartment and sat down and was finally quote-unquote home. And even though it was a horrible experience, it was the first time I had a roof over my head and a place to stay that wasn't behind a barbed wire fence. And it was a stressful, whatever, it was what it was. And exactly a year later, to the day, the landlord started this fight with me, threatening me. It's April 23rd and I still don't have hot water. And now it's even worse. The shower doesn't work. It's just a bad situation. The situation's worse than when I moved in here. And this has been going on for so long. But on April 2nd, I was irritated about it. But I remember telling all of you guys that, I've only got 3 more months. April, May, June. I got 4 more months. I just paid for month 3 on a 6-month lease. I got 3 more payments left, and at the end of that month, I'm out. Like, I'd already made up my mind I wasn't going to stay. And then April 3rd, this dude comes at me saying he's going to raise the rent on me. He's threatening me. He's, and I'm just like, I became a completely different person. I'm like a vicious animal backed up in a corner. And if you don't think I'm going to bite, you're mistaken. I just, I've got 5 different things I'm working on right now because of the fact that I've been backed up into a corner and threatened. And you can see it in my attitude, my face, you can see that this has taken a toll. And that this has, in one day, I went from being irritated about some stuff, but generally, like, working through it with the expectation that I'm just gonna move on to better things when this is over. To, like, I'm on DEFCON 1, ready to hit the red button. Like, the glass case is open, the keys have been turned, the nuclear launch codes have been entered into the computer. My finger's on the red button. All I got to do is push it. And believe me, when I hit that button, it's going to seem like Hiroshima was a sunny day in Japan. A nice, sunny, wonderful, warm day in Japan by the time this shit goes off. And I don't even really want to hit the button, to be honest. I'm not. But the finger's on the button, and all I got to do is go, and it's over. Fingers on the button. DEFCON 1. That's what you do. You open the hatches. The missiles are ready to launch. They're fueled up. The key is in the ignition. The cover's off. The red button's right there, Mr. President. All you got to do is push the button and give the order. Are you going to push the button? Fingers on the button. And I'm like shaking. Like, I might just push the button by accident when I didn't really mean. Well, whoops. Didn't mean to do that, but it's too late now. That's how close we are to launching the nukes. But this has taken a serious toll. And I'm like, holy shit, it's been 20 days. 20 days since he did that. And I'm on the edge. I'm like on the edge of launching a nuclear war right now. And I'm angry and I'm bitter and I'm like out, I'm kind of like going out of my mind, and I'm having a hard time just focusing on basic shit right now because I'm so pissed. And I combine that with the fact that this all started exactly on the day I came home from prison. The exact day. And so I just keep, like, I feel like God wanted to show me something. God wants me to put the past to bed. God wants me to stop, just put the past in the past and move forward. He's got something new for me. But I think he wanted to show me something. Like, I'm just putting this together out of my own intuition. There was some stuff going on with the landlords when I came home from prison. There were 2 different landlords on the attack at the same time. And so, like, I'm getting it's not like a taste of my own medicine. That's not the way to describe it. What I'm getting right now is a perspective of what that must have been like to have 2 different landlords threatening you, forcing you to live in slum-like conditions, not fixing anything, going after you financially, trying to rip the rug out from under you. And, it's wrong. It was completely wrong what was going on. My version of it here is, I'm not going to say it's worse or better. It doesn't matter. It's the same situation that I'm going through right now. And I know what it's done to me inside. This experience just over the last 20 days has literally, like, I'm not fucking around. Like, you think I'm just sitting in this chair bitching all day. I'm sitting in this chair bitching for like an hour here and there. The rest of the day I'm doing shit. And I'm lining up the militarized response that's getting ready to go. If I need to push that button, shit is going to start flying from 10 different directions at once. if you don't think that I'm thorough and cover all my bases, just believe me, I have covered every angle of this situation tenfold. But what I really want to do is come to a peaceful solution where I just go somewhere better and resolve this without having to go down that road. But the road is ready to the troops are on DEFCON 1. It's ready. The response is ready. I am not going to just sit back and let someone do what they're trying to do. And if I get attacked, it's going to backfire on the other person. If I can walk away from this and just forget about it and take that stress out of my life, then fine, that's what we're going to do. But if I have to walk away from this and it's going to cause me, like, if I get attacked after the fact, then holy shit, nuclear war will be dropped upon you. From so many angles at once, you won't know what to do with yourself. And it's all ready to go. It's all ready to go. Just gotta push the button. I don't want to push the button. But this is what it's done to me. This is how, like, it's turned my whole, like, my whole soul has been twisted into a knot, and I'm ready to thrash. Not physically. I'm just saying, like, I'm ready to turn up the heat and turn the screws on this situation if I need to defend myself. And I'm confident that any attack against me is going to bounce right off, and it's going to multiply tenfold when it comes back in the other direction. It's all done. All I have to do is make a phone call or two and say, yeah, let's do it. But I don't want to. Because then that's just going to be more... It's going to be another situation where I just need to let go of the past and move on. But the past will still be sitting there day after day after day until it's all over. And I'd rather just have it be over. But this whole thing has twisted me. Because I'm being threatened. And, you know, it's like... When you threaten somebody's livelihood... Or when you threaten somebody's... having a roof over somebody's head, and when you put them in a position where they're going to lose their home or they're going to lose their livelihood, that's basically not much different. That's basically one small step down from threatening their kids or threatening their lives. And so, you know, that there's even something to be said there about, you know, the stupid posts I made online. I was just running my mouth and talking shit, but somebody could look at that and think that I was threatening them. And that's why the response came my way. The FBI showed up at my fucking house and drove a tank into the fucking house over tweets. But now here I am, ready to drive a tank into someone else's house, figuratively speaking, because they threatened me. You know what I'm saying? So, like, to sit here and say I don't get it would be, you know... Oh my God, this noise. Like, I hear these noises out the loud-ass road that I live on. There's so much other... I saw so many ridiculous things today when I was out grocery shopping, just going for a 2-mile walk there and back, and all the ridiculous people and things I saw. It was just another sign, like, if you want me to get out of here, God, I am your willing servant. I will gladly pack my stuff and leave and go somewhere better. If you've got somewhere better for me, please. I am all about listening to your will right now and leaving this place if that's what you think is best. I am all for it. Let's do it. And I'm we'll just leave it there, right? Talk about the details, the nitty-gritties on another day. But I'm already in like this reactionary, don't you dare fuck with me kind of mode right now, because somebody threatened me and now I'm ready to retaliate or defend myself at the very minimum. There's two levels: defend myself or retaliate. You know, in the instance of the FBI coming to my house, I was one of probably 300,000 people talking shit on the internet that week. It was 2 days after the Mar-a-Lago raid on Trump's house, and Fox News and all the news media and Christopher Wray, the head of the FBI, were all saying that the FBI has received an unprecedented number of threats since this happened. Well, unprecedented number of threats sounds like a lot of people doing that. And a lot of people talking shit that week. And they picked a guy and they're like, let's get him. We'll bust up his house. We'll take his life away. We'll throw him in prison for 2 years. And that'll shut everybody else up. We'll make an example out of this guy. And then we'll get everybody else to shut up. And it probably worked. I know a lot of people have said to me, I ended up deleting all my posts on social media because of what happened to you. So, it worked. But from a threat standpoint and a reaction standpoint, yeah, okay. I didn't threaten any specific people. I never said I was going to go out there and do anything. My statements were around the topic of kicking down people's doors like they do in a totalitarian regime. Going door to door and kicking people's doors down and rounding up people to take them to the concentration camps, all that kind of shit. And my statement was, if you kick down my door, I'll be waiting for you. So what did they do? They came and kicked down my door. And to an extent, I was waiting for them. I wasn't really expecting the FBI to come over and break down my fucking house with a tank over a fucking mean tweet. And so I didn't know what the fuck was going on upstairs. All I heard was banging and breaking glass. I ran upstairs with a gun and there's the FBI. But that's not even the point of this video right now. The point is, I was treated a certain way when I came home from prison. And it was a year to the day when this landlord started threatening me. And this was the same stuff going on to the person that was treating me like shit. And I just can't help but wonder if God wants me to know, hey, look at what you're going through right now and look at how it's twisted you into this knot of anger, and you're just ready to go to blows with anybody. Not physically, but you're ready to throw down in terms of the legal system if it came down to that, or just doing whatever you have to do to protect yourself. You're like entrenched in you're in war mode right now. You're in like DEFCON 1. You're ready to go because someone threatened you, and they threatened your livelihood and they threatened your ability to have a roof over your head, and you've already been homeless. You know what that feels like, and you're being threatened to be thrown back out into the street for having done nothing wrong. What did I do? I paid my rent on time. I kept quiet. I asked him to fix the hot water and he wouldn't do it. And I never even put my foot down and started demanding it. I just kept checking in with the guy every couple of weeks because he just wasn't fixing it. And I'm like, hey, you got an ETA on when the water's going to get fixed? Oh, it's going to be next week. 2 more weeks. Oh, a couple more weeks. Another week. Oh, give it another week. Oh, 2 more weeks. But I never, like, I could have raised, there's 10 different things I could have done legally, and I didn't, because I'm trying to be patient and have that, I'm just trying to give the guy the benefit of the doubt. But then he comes and threatens me for nothing. All he had was a tenant that paid his bills, keeps to himself, and just wants to take a hot shower, and all of a sudden you're threatening to throw me out in the fucking street after I was just homeless last year, and you're threatening my livelihood because I need to have a quiet place to work from home, and you're taking away time that I can't do my job and my work because I got to deal with your fucking bullshit. And so, like, I can put myself in the shoes of the other person to say, that must have been what it was like when that landlord, there were 2 different landlords in that situation that were, this person had to lawyer up and deal with 2 simultaneous shitbag landlords. One for the apartment that was fucking everything up and causing all kinds of problems, just as bad as what I'm going through here. Different, but bad. Horrible shit. And then another landlord for a business space that was going and doing all kinds of backstabbing, shitty bullshit, trying to rip up a contract and pretend it didn't exist and all this other nonsense, and, shutting off utilities and things like that. And so I couldn't imagine what that would be like to be fighting off 2 different landlords and having to go to court with 2 different landlord situations because all I wanted to do is take a fucking shower and run my business. But now I know, because I'm going through it on the exact same day that I came home from fucking prison and walked into that shit. So it's like, God, so at the same time today, I watched this video about how God can take away your past and take away all the things that you just need to walk away from and not ever think about again, or never, you just need to, you can't pretend it never happened, but you just need to, like, move on, go do something new. Just forget about it. Look ahead, don't look back. Don't, it's like when you're leaving Sodom and Gomorrah, don't turn around and look. What happened? Lot's wife turned into a pillar of salt because she wanted to see what, she wanted to turn around and see what was going on. Boof, she's gone. Don't look back. Look ahead. Don't turn around and look back. Just look straight ahead and keep walking forward. Don't turn around. That's what this video was trying to tell me today. It was just a weird synchronicity. And then these things I saw at the store today were like twice in a span of like 15 minutes at the most. Once right before I'm going to pay for my groceries, and once right after I start walking across the parking lot with my groceries in my bag. Same exact thing, I saw it twice, 2 different people, and it was just like it brought me right back in time to a year ago. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why? It was too coincidental to be a coincidence at that point. That video, the 2 things at the grocery store, just some of the other stuff, like seeing that this neighborhood fucking sucks and it might just be time to peace out and go to a better neighborhood, go have a better place that's quiet. Like, all the things that this place lacks, maybe there's another place that is still affordable but better. We'll still have challenges. It's not going to be, sunshine and rainbows from day one. It's going to be a major, major challenge and a struggle in 20 different ways. Financially and with the bicycle rides and all that crap. It's going to be a pain in the ass. But it could be a worthwhile pain in the ass. And it could just work itself out to be a really good situation to where, like, a few months from now I'm like, I'm glad that fucking landlord did what he did, because look where I am now, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that. But I don't know. I just have this feeling that 3 months from today I'm going to be saying, Thank God that fucking douchebag wouldn't fix the water, because I'm loving life right now. And this kind of stuff happens in my life. But this all got me thinking, like, God, just the way he works, it's weird. Getting that phone call, getting that threat handed to me on the day I came home was like a sign that God wanted me to see something. God wanted me to see the point of view from another person's perspective so that I can understand why certain things happened the way they did. And right now, I'm not in a good state of mind. I'm not in the right state of mind right now myself. And I am doing things and saying things and just, like, I'm not in my right mind right now because of this threatening situation that I'm dealing with. People threatening my livelihood, somebody threatening my livelihood, and somebody threatening to force me out into the street to be homeless again. Back in the day, back in the Wild West, you could steal somebody's horse and get hanged for that. That was a death sentence. If you got caught stealing somebody's horse, you could get killed for that, like hanged. That was what you would be sentenced to for stealing a horse. And people would think, well, what the fuck? It's like stealing a car. People would equate that to this day of stealing a car. And nobody's going to get the death penalty for stealing a car. You might go to jail. You might even go to prison, depending on the value of the car, depending on how many cars you've stolen, depending on what you did when the police chased you. There's 20 different ways. There's 150 different ways that could have gone, but you're not going to get sentenced to death for stealing a car. So why, back in the Wild West days, in the 1800s, would someone get hanged for stealing a horse? Because stealing a horse could kill somebody. Somebody comes into town, somebody lives out on the frontier in their little house on the prairie or whatever, and comes into town to get some supplies, and someone steals their horse. That person's fucking stranded now. They can't get their supplies back home. What if they've got a wife and kids waiting at the cabin and they can't get back on time because now they've got a 3 to 5 day journey to get back when it would have taken a day on a horse? And they can't carry what they need home because that's what they needed the horse for, was to carry everything. What if what if they're just stranded in town and they can't get back home? And then what if, like, the wife and kids starve? There's a million different ways, but stealing someone's horse could have killed somebody back then, because you relied on your horse to the point where if you didn't have it, you might die. Like, this is like wild. This is wilderness. And you need that horse to get home. You need that horse. Your life depends on you having that horse. And so it would make total sense that somebody would either kill you to keep you from stealing their horse, or if you got caught and brought to the judge would have you hanged for stealing the fucking horse. And, this day and age, people are burning down Tesla dealerships and demolishing Tesla cars and throwing their temper tantrums. The most they're going to get is 20 years in prison. We'll wait and see. Somebody's going to get a 20-year sentence for burning down a Tesla dealership. Okay, 20 years. I can see that. But not vandalizing a single Tesla. But either way, back in the 1800s, you burned down someone's horse, you took out someone's horse, you stole someone's horse, you could get hanged for that. That was a capital crime. And so the equivalent right now in my world is you threaten my life, you threaten my livelihood, and you threaten my shelter, having a roof over my head. We're going to have some serious fucking beef. Because you're essentially threatening my life in some fashion there. And so, watching, knowing that somebody else was going through that, having their livelihood threatened, having their home, their roof over their head threatened, and just having to fend off all these attacks from every direction would probably result in you not being of sound mind right now, and not being, you might say things that you really didn't mean, you might do things that you wish you hadn't, those kinds of things. So I have to kind of keep that in my mind, that I got to work on this forgiveness thing, because I don't have it in me. You see it in the videos, I'm so full of piss and vinegar when it comes to forgiving people for some of the shit that's happened since 2020, and I'm just like, I'm holding on to it. And it's like, I've got this one friend who talks about, people act out because of fear and do all kinds of crazy shit, but it all boils down to this person is afraid of something. This friend was telling me about theft. Somebody stole something, and he's trying to forgive the person that stole something by coming to the conclusion that, this person who stole from me, he's not doing it because he's greedy, or, he's trying to rationalize this by saying, the guy that stole this from me is stealing because it comes down to him being afraid of not having enough money, being afraid of whatever. And it's like, I can rationalize some of the things I've done, the social media posts, the anger of lashing out, saying, if you motherfuckers come to my house, I'll be ready for you and I'll be waiting for you. It stems from a fear of seeing what was happening in this country. The lockdowns, telling people they can't run their business anymore. There's a curfew. You can't be out on the streets. You can't go to the grocery store without your vaccine card. You got to wear your stupid mask. All these things. That's the shit right out of the fucking textbook when a dictator comes to power. And so I'm not the only one who had fear. But that fear quickly turned to anger. But the anger comes from the fear. You're angry because you're afraid of something, but the expression of it is anger. You're pissed. So in the situation I'm in right now, I'm angry. Like, you wouldn't believe. If you watch the videos, I'm laying it bare. I'm just putting it right out there. Wide open book for everybody to read. This is like a journey. This is a documented journey in real life, with unedited, of what the fuck I'm going through because I did something stupid. And boy, oh boy, have I been pissed since April 3rd. But why? Why am I pissed? Ultimately, it boils down to, I'm afraid of being homeless again. I don't want to be homeless again. And number two, I'm afraid of failure in my business and in my line of work, and being able to pick up the pieces and actually be able to provide and be a father to my kids again, and to build a life again. And there's fear there. And so when somebody's threatening me, that fear in my life, fear quickly boils into anger like that. Like, I get afraid, and then I'm like, the fuck you are. It's like there's that moment of fear. I get that knot in my stomach, and then that knot turns into an explosion of rage. And I'm holding in the rage, and I'm channeling it towards what I'm going to do if I need, because I'm backed into the corner right now. I'm rattling my tail. I'm a rattlesnake. I'm shaking my tail. I'm like, don't you fucking take one more step. Take one more fucking step and see what happens. Just one more fucking step. Got my tongue sticking out. One more fucking step and I'm gonna bite. Just back the fuck up. But I'm pissed. But like I said, the anger comes from fear. So in this situation, I was being treated like shit. Massively bad. Like, it was like, holy fuck, I still can't make sense of it all to this day. It was so bad. And I think part of the reason why it's on my head right now is because I had the bright idea of, I keep saying, look back a year ago if you're going through some shit, and can I say to myself, am I better off today than I was a year ago? Absolutely. Absolutely. Things are shitty right now. But things are shitty in my own apartment. I've got a job. I've got 2 bicycles that kick ass, and I'm a fast motherfucker on a bicycle. I am in shape. I can ride. I am in 22nd place out of 1,400 and something people on a couple of Strava segments to and from my bakery job. 22nd place out of 1,441 people or something like that. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's 22nd place for sure out of 1,400 and something people. I'm number 22. And I'm wearing a backpack that weighs probably 15 pounds, full of stuff, to and from the job. And I'm riding a bicycle that was manufactured in like 1986, racing against people who are on road racing bikes that cost anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000, and they're all decked out in their Lance Armstrong spandex outfits and all their fancy fucking shit. And I'm looking like I look like some punk ass homeless guy practically out on a bicycle. Like, I don't look the part when I'm out there. I don't want to look like a cyclist with the bright yellow and blue fucking weird ass Lance Armstrong spandex outfit, you know, with the, plus I'm too fat for that. My gut is just, that doesn't work. I wear regular shorts and a t-shirt. The backpack sucks. Believe me, if I wasn't wearing that backpack and I had the Lance Armstrong spandex outfit on, I'd probably be in 5th place right now instead of 22nd. If I was on a bicycle that was made in the last 5 years, I'd be in like 4th place. But right now I'm 22nd place out of 1,400 something people, and I'm creeping in. Every time I get a second off of that time, I'm going to jump up. If I crush off one more second, I'll probably jump up to like 12th place. I don't know. I've got like 12 seconds to shave off before I'm number 1. And that's a hard 12 seconds to shave off of this time. That's going to take a lot out of me, but I'm creeping up on these motherfuckers. And I'm only going to get in better shape. I might be in 1st place and still have a beer belly. That'll really make some people think twice. What the fuck's going on? This fat piece of shit just whooped our ass. But it's coming. It's coming. One of these days it's going to happen. I wasn't even on my fast bike when I got my fastest time yesterday. I was on the Red Rocket yesterday. If I was on my Specialized, the road racing bike that's at the Silver Bullet, I would have actually got a better time. I might be in like 14th place or 12th place out of 1,440 whatever people. So a year ago when I was, a year and some change ago when I was in spinning class at Club Fed, I would just close my eyes and pretend to be riding a real bicycle on real roads, saying I would give anything to get the fuck out of this place and go ride a bicycle. And now I get to ride a bicycle all the fucking time I want, and then some, whether I want to or not. And so, like, I got what I asked for. God answered my prayers when I kept saying in Club Fed spinning class, dear God, I would give anything to be riding a bicycle right now on real roads, going long distances, just riding my bike and feeling the wind. And, I feel it all now. The rain, the wind, the snow, the sleet, the ice, the ice cold, the bitter hot. All of it. I got it all. And believe me, I'm getting my mileage in. I just came to the conclusion that I'm over 1,500 miles for the year. I'm less than 500 miles away from the end of my 2,000 mile goal, and we're 4 months into the year. So yeah, I'm getting my miles. I got what I prayed for sure. So, God can't say, hey, I didn't give you what you asked for. You can't say I didn't give you what you asked for, can you, huh? But I'm definitely not in the right frame of mind right now. I'm feeling better as the days go by, and I've got my ducks in a row, and I've got my plan. I've got a plan figured out for what I'm about to do. But I'm definitely not in the right frame of mind, and it would be very easy for me to lash out at somebody if there was somebody here to lash out at. Fuck you trolls, leaving all your shitty dumbass comments all over the channel. I've lashed out at a bunch of you lately and had no problem with that. Probably a little bit worse than I normally would. So I'm just looking at all of this, and it's like, I truly feel like God wanted me to see someone else's perspective to explain things that can't be explained. Like, I keep sitting here going, why? Why the fuck would you do that? And then I'm like, okay, I already know what this is doing to me. This whole situation where I'm being threatened, and this landlord situation, and everything that I'm going through right now, I feel it. And I'm like, okay, if that's a contributing factor to what happened in Jamestown, that may have been a big fact. Like, I played my part. I did my part to get what I had coming. But there's so much about this story that doesn't make any fucking sense. But when I put myself in the situation I'm in right now, and the frame of mind that I'm in because of it, the lack of showers, the fight with this being threatened, and just like having to be on the defensive and be ready to fight at a moment's notice, is having a toll on me. And so I can look at it like, okay, that played a big part. Played a big part. There were multiple things. I've never said I'm blameless in this. But when some of the things that I can't explain because it doesn't make any fucking sense, I think God is taking this month, 1 year after I got out of prison, to say, here, let me help you make sense of this shit. And at the same time, I'm about to open up another door and take you to a better level. And you got, like, this is part of leveling up. You got to figure out some stuff. I'm going to show you some things that you need to hear, and you need to see, and you actually need to feel and experience, so that you can know what contributed to everything that happened back then. You need to actually... Words aren't enough. You actually have to feel this. You have to experience it yourself, so that you know how much this is fucking with your head, and how much this has twisted you all around and got you all worked up and out of your fucking mind in the blink of an eye. In the blink of an eye. April 2nd, I was one person. April 3rd, I was a completely different person. Like, ready to fucking go. I guarantee you, if I can figure out which video I shot on April 2nd and which videos I shot on April 3rd, I'll be able to see the difference in my demeanor and personality and everything. And now I'm trying to come out of it and trying to rise above all this shit, and trying to just say, you know what? This isn't worth where this is going. But I have to protect myself at the same time. And it's just all these things happened today. Little tiny synchronistic things that got my mind spinning and got me thinking about, this is what it must have been like before I came home and all this landlord shit was going on. And so, yeah, I mean, if you're not in the right frame of mind, and if you're like... It's something I need to see. It's something I needed to experience, so that I need to be able to put this shit to bed and walk away from it and put it in the past, and not sit here going, why? It doesn't make any sense. And now God's helping it make sense. Like, God is putting it in front of me. He's putting me in a situation so that I can explain what happened so that I can make sense of it, and then I can just put it to bed and say, all right, sucks, but that's how it went. That's how it ended. That's why things went the way that they did. You know, I can accept responsibility for the parts that were my fault, but it wasn't all my fault. It wasn't. And I can say that for sure. And no, I didn't deserve the level of holy fuck that I came home to. I did not know. I didn't. Not that level. Did I think it would be all sunshine and rainbows when I walked in the door? No, not at all. But the level of holy fuck that I came home to was like, to this day, it like shattered my whole reality of like, holy shit. But I don't want to get into the details. That's why I'm just dancing around it. But I'm just trying to say that I feel like God picked the exact day I came home to let this guy unleash his bullshit on me, so that it would like trigger me to associate that and make all of these connections in my mind, so that I can be like, all right, if the roles were reversed, I would be out of my fucking mind too, and I would probably do things I regret, or I would do things that I normally wouldn't do, but oh well, shit happens, you know what I mean? Like I would be ready to lash out at anybody who even remotely made me feel like I was in danger, or the slightest provocation. Right now, the slightest provocation is going to set me off. It's not going to take much. Just a little grain of sand in my shoe is going to be enough to set me off because of what's going on right now. And that would not normally be the case. But right now, that little grain of sand would be all it takes. To, you know, one little grain of powder will make the whole barrel of gunpowder explode. One little spark. And I walked into that shit. You know, what I went through, and everybody around me and associated with me went through hell because of that, because of what I did. And so that's bad enough, and that's one thing. But then there's all these other things going on that would be very difficult, even if none of that shit with the FBI and the federal prison and Joe Biden and the Democrats and all that bullshit, even if that never happened, if this other stuff was happening, it would have been a toxic, stressful time to go through. Just because of those things that were going on. And you mix it with the stuff that I did, and I'm coming home and to all this. That's why I came home to complete fucking chaos. And so it's like God is just showing me, look, dude, I don't think God's not sitting here telling me I'm wrong for, you know. So I don't think God agrees with what happened. I think God's upset about the way everything went down. But he's kind of like, look at it from another point of view for a minute. Because that'll help you figure out some of the things that you can't make sense out of. You need to start making sense out of it. You need to start being able to figure out why things happened the way they did. And it wasn't all my fault. That's what he's trying to tell me. It wasn't all my fault. Like, I get it, dude. You know, I fucked up. But at the end of the day, some things were not my fault, but I bore the... I was the one that got lashed out against and the one that got attacked. Because there was nobody else to lash out at and attack. And I'm in a situation right now where if I had somebody to take it all out on, I might. Because, and I might do it without wanting to, or even without realizing I'm doing it, because I'm in a bad state of mind right now. You know, if I had a significant other sitting in this, over there taking a shit 10 feet from me, I might lash out and say something that I should have never even crossed my mind, and something I wouldn't want to do. Like, I could see myself doing something like that. Just shoving somebody off a cliff because I want to be left the fuck alone, and just, because I'm going through this fucking hell and I'm just mad at the world and everything else under the sun. I could see myself just going, you know what? Poof! Just shove someone off the cliff, and not I always got to have a disclaimer, not really push somebody off of a fucking cliff, but figuratively speaking, because I'm not in a right frame of mind, and my mind's all twisted and fucked up right now, and it wouldn't even be that person's fault. It would be the fault of the people who are coming at me from this other direction and bringing that stress into my life. And then instead of taking it out on the people that are dishing it out to me, I turn around and dish it out to somebody who didn't fucking deserve it, because they were just there. And so I get it. Like, I understand. It's like this day helped me. That video, the shit at the grocery store, the fact that this all started on the day I came home from prison, exactly 1 year later to the day. Like, all these little clues and signs and wonders kind of come together today to kind of say, look, this is what I'm trying to teach you. This is what I'm trying to show you. This is what you need to figure out. I need you to understand that you fucked up and you did something really stupid, but everything that happened wasn't completely your fault. And so, like, forgiveness means forgiving the other person, but also forgiving yourself. Because, if you don't think I go to bed every night feeling like I'm a washed up, worthless piece of shit because I made that stupid mistake, you would be very wrong. You'd be very wrong. Every fucking day that I don't see my children, every day that I'm living like this, every day that I'm walking around in a destroyed life, watching all the chaos and ruin, and knowing that it's not just affected me, but everybody I gave a shit about have been torn apart and destroyed by this. If you don't think I go to bed feeling that every day, you'd be very well mistaken. But I also need to forgive myself along with some of these other people, because I firmly believe I didn't deserve the level of punishment that was dished out for what I did. I think that was I'm going to say that till the day I die, that it was not proportional to the crime. 2 years in prison, while I'm sharing it just rubs salt in the wound by having me share a jail cell with a guy who actually killed another human being and got 14 months in jail, and then he got to go home. And good, I'm glad he went home. I like the guy. I can tell you that this guy doesn't go to bed at night without thinking about that night, and he will never go to bed for the rest of his life. He'll never go a day the rest of his life without constantly thinking about that night. And I'm not going to get into the more details, but I can tell you that dude has a great amount of remorse for what happened, even though I believe it was more the bicyclist's fault than the guy. And I'm a cyclist, and I stand up for cyclists. But when you're riding on the wrong side of the fucking road, dressed completely in black with no lights, wearing headphones, wearing a black hoodie and a black outfit at 12:30 at night on December 17th in the middle of fucking winter, what the hell do you think is going to happen when you're riding down a 4-lane road the wrong way on the wrong side of the fucking road? That's a good way to get yourself killed. Very, very good way to get yourself killed. When I go out on my bicycle at night I look like a fucking disco show. I look like I'm a fucking rave, and I sound like a rave with my loud ass bicycle speakers and my 17 blinking fucking lights and strobe lights and the white lights and the red lights and the reflectors and everything else. If you don't fucking see me, you're blind. You're fucking blind. You can see me better at night than you can see me during the day. And I'm on the right side of the road, riding correctly. And, realizing that it's at night. So I'm trying to, take into account that even though I've got 6 bright ass lights trying to blind somebody behind me so that they can actually see me, I still have it in my head that they might not, or they might be drunk off their ass, or some other factor. And so I'm keeping that in mind as I ride. I don't ride the same at night as I do during the day. But anyway, this guy got 14 months in jail, and I got 2 years for some fucking mean tweets. Mean tweets, 2 years. Kill somebody, 14 months. You're good to go. You go home. I can't. Who could come home from that and think they got a fair deal? Who could come home from that and think they got a fair deal? I challenge any of you to go through that and share a jail cell with a guy who killed somebody and got 14 months. You got 2 years for some mean tweets, and you're going to come home and think that you got a fair deal? Get the fuck out of here. There was no fair deal there. And so just like that, I have to forgive some people, even if I never talk to the people again. I've got all these friends that turn their back on me that I'll never talk to again. Family, friends, other people that I will never speak to again. But I need to find a way to just let it go and forgive them and move on. And I'm holding on to this shit. I feel like Gollum when you tried to take the fucking ring away from him. I hate you! We hate you! And I can't just fucking let go. I gotta let go of the fucking ring and throw it into the pit of fire and just let it go. Forget about these fucking people. That doesn't mean I have to call a summit and get all these people together and tell them I forgive them. It just means I gotta forgive them and fucking forget about it. Forget about them, not think about it anymore. Because it's only hurting me. If anybody gets to live rent free in my head while I'm paying rent to not even have hot water, that's not a good thing. So, but I think God, I don't know, today was like, I'm going to get back to work here in a few. This whole shit on my face, the whole situation, this I'm just grubby and gritty and disgusting and just, I'm feeling completely fucking horrible. And like I said, for the 10th time in this video, it's like I feel like God wanted to open up a portal so that I could see the other side of the equation, so that I can understand, things that don't make sense are making sense now. It didn't make it right, but at the end of the day, I need to forgive, but forgive myself too. Because, I didn't deserve everything I got dished out, both in the prison sentence, from the court, from our corrupt government, from the crooked-ass judge, the crooked-ass prosecutors, the lying sack of shit, KGB, FBI, whatever the fuck you want to call them, the whole system. I didn't deserve having my back turned on by everybody who I ever fucking knew in my life, and I certainly didn't deserve the level of fucking shit that I was dished out from the second I got home and walked in the fucking door, that's for sure. But I can at least try to see it from the other point of view, but I'm also going to forgive myself. You know what I mean? Because I do go to bed every night thinking about what a fucking rotten piece of shit I was. And that's gonna stop. But like I said, I also gotta forgive the others and just put it to bed. Put it to bed. And I think that's what I'm about. This is like, I need to do this so I can level up. That was another video I watched today. Like, this dude was literally talking about this one guy. It was like a YouTube short that popped up randomly, and it was this guy talking about, you need to let go of some things in the past because that's what's holding you back from leveling up. And I keep talking about leveling up and having to beat the boss or figure out the puzzle, or figure out a puzzle and beat a boss and get past the level, and figure out whatever it is that you got to figure out that's holding you back from getting to the next level. And this dude just pops up on a video and starts saying all that same shit today. And so I'm listening and I'm like, yeah, it's exactly what's happening right now. I can tell, I can feel it. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be all sunshine and rainbows and happy-go-lucky and, yay, I'm leveling up. It's more like when I play a video game and I'm about to level up, but I can't beat the boss, I'm ready to throw the fucking controller, and I'm like, you motherfucker, fuck you, you motherfucker, you think I'm angry on YouTube? Holy fuck, man, watch me play a video game. That's why I'm not playing video games anymore. Watch me play a video game when I get to a spot where I can't get past it. And if it weren't for the fact that these fucking controllers cost like $200 now, I would have thrown the fucking thing already. If it was like some cheap-ass Nintendo controller that would cost $20 to replace, that shit would have been shattered and stomped on and thrown in the trash by now. But no, not my Xbox Elite controller that costs $250. I'm going to get mad. I'm going to say a bunch of swear words. I'm going to yell and piss and moan. And then I'm going to very gently set the controller down in its padded box and zip up the case and set it very gently off in the corner, and make sure that the power is turned off properly, and make sure that everything is clean and there's no, residue on it. And I'm very gently going to turn off the Xbox and then walk outside and go punch a fucking tree or something like that, because that controller costs way too fucking much money. To throw a controller like that would be like, you just light your cigars with $50 bills, don't you? So, no. But I want to throw the fucking controller when I'm playing Assassin's Creed and I'm whooping ass and I get to this one motherfucker who I can't even get one jab in with a sword, and he cuts me once and I die. And maybe I cut the dude 20 fucking times and his energy bar doesn't even drop a notch. And then he touches me one time with the sword and I'm like, you got me, And I'm like, what the fuck? And I start getting mad. And now I'm like trying all kinds of backhanded ways to beat this motherfucker, and you just can't. Because you're not meant to yet. But the game will let you try, but the game's gonna be like, you gotta go get a better sword or some shit. You gotta come back. You're not gonna beat him until you go out on a fucking pirate mission with your ship, steal some shit, go to this blacksmith and buy a better sword, and then you can come back and fuck this guy up. But right now you ain't doing shit, and I'll just do it 20 fucking times in a row, and I'll get mad. But then when I beat the guy, I'm like, haha, fuck you, and I'm off to the next level. So, that's what it feels like right now. That, like, there's some things that God's got me on pause because he wants me to go to the next level. And it's all right there, and I'm right on the edge of it. I'm on the last boss of level 4. I'm about to go to level 5. And it's like, I'm just about there. I just got to figure out the pattern. I just got to figure out the magic formula of which sword to use, which shield. Do I get the bracers, or do I get the chest plate, or, whatever it is that I need to get past this level and get to level 5. And then when you get to the new level, you get to chill for a minute before it gets hard. And so that's where I am right now. And like today was more like proof of it. Today, just the weird things that happened today were proof that that's where I'm at right now. I'm right on the cusp of a major upgrade, leveling up. I just got an email a few minutes ago before I started recording this video that I have to respond to. I don't expect anything out of it. I never do anymore. But answering that email could be like all of a sudden, boom, this like everything just blows up and all of a sudden life is in a better spot. So I have to keep that in mind. I don't expect it, but sometimes that's how it happens. It's just a random email and all of a sudden your life just completely takes off in a great direction, and it was all because, you know, you responded to some email that someone sent you out of the blue today. And so I don't know where the lock is. I don't know which door opens the chamber where the final boss is waiting for me. Whatever. But we're getting there. We're almost there. And that's why everything has gone batshit crazy right now. But part of getting to the next level is learning. It's like even the video games. There's like some big revelation of, you know, it's like when Luke found out Darth Vader was his dad. There's some big revelation that you have to discover. And then he got his hand cut off and he had to fall down the big pit in Cloud City and get on the Millennium Falcon all beat up and, you know, all fucked up. And then he got his robot hand and everything. And then all of a sudden he came back, kicked Darth Vader's ass like it was nothing. And that's what it's going to be. Like right now I'm on Cloud City. Darth Vader just told me he's my dad. My hand's cut off and I'm like, no, it's not true. It's not true. And I'm about to just say, you know what? Fuck it. And let go and just fall down into the pit. Wait for the Millennium Falcon to come and get me, take me off to the medical ship, get my robot hand, go see Yoda for a few, and I'm going to come back and kick Darth Vader's fucking ass. But then I'm going to have to deal with the Emperor shooting lightning bolts at me, and I'm not ready for that because I didn't know that. I didn't know this old fucking crippled old dickhead. I thought he was like Joe Biden, just some shriveled up crippled old dickhead with dementia that likes to sniff children. But here he's got fucking lightning bolts coming out of his hands. Where the fuck did that come? Nobody told me. Yoda, you didn't tell me about that shit. What the fuck? So I'm not ready for that one yet, but I'm about to level up where I can beat Darth Vader, and that's not bad. So anyway, that's my update for now, and we'll chat in a bit. Peace out.